You're listening to Paranormal Optimist. My name is Stephanie, and in this podcast, we dissect paranormal topics from the perspective of skeptics, believers, and everyone in between. At the end, it's up to you to decide. Are you a paranormal optimist? Hello and welcome to another episode of Paranormal Optimist. This week, I am so excited to finally be bringing you another expert interview to listen to today. If you remember, the last expert interview we had was with Dr. Rihanna Bokhari in episode 2. Dr. Rihanna Bokhari, of course, is an expert in the field of space health, and we had a great discussion about the possibility of extraterrestrial life, and she brought the perspective of a scientist to the discussion. Today's expert interview will be very different, but it was just as much fun, and it was just as interesting and thought-provoking. So before we dive in, my usual reminder that you can find out absolutely anything and everything you'd need to know about the show by taking a look at the episode description. There you'll find where to follow the show, all the places to listen, and if there's any sources cited in any of the episodes, that's where you will be able to find those as well. And as always, if you have an episode suggestion, a paranormal story to share, or if you'd like to participate in a future episode as an expert, or even as an enthusiast or a witness who would like to tell their story, send me an email at paranormaloptimist@gmail.com. The episode today is actually the direct result of an email inquiry, so please keep them coming. In today's episode, we are doing an expert interview with Kayla and Jacob of Soluna Investigations. I will let them introduce themselves and what they are all about during the interview, so stay tuned. Before we dive into our conversation, I just wanted to make a few quick announcements. With the release of our third and final part of the Mothman series, we actually reached 500 downloads, so a huge initial milestone for Paranormal Optimist. I really had no idea what to expect when I started this podcast. I mostly assumed my 5 closest friends would listen once in a while to humor me and support me because they are wonderful. And believe me, those people do that, don't get me wrong. I really do have the best and weirdest friends in the entire world, but we also seem to have quite a large and steady listener base, which has even grown to areas like the UK. That is definitely not what I expected so early on, so this whole experience has been tons of fun. So thank you. Thank you so much to anyone who gave this show a chance, came back week after week, and even told other people to check it out. I'd love to see how far we can take this and how long we can keep the weirdness going. And again, if you have any suggestions for different directions we can take the show, send them my way. paranormaloptimist@gmail.com. With those formalities out of the way, it's time to dive back into the world of ghosts with an expert interview with some actual in-the-field paranormal investigators. This week's episode brings you part 1 of my 2-part interview with Soluna Investigations. Before diving into the recording, let me tell you what you can expect from part 1 of this interview. We will start by learning who Kayla and Jacob are and what they do as Soluna Investigations. We will then dive into their investigative methods, how they prepare for their field work, what sort of equipment they use, and their reasoning behind their approach. We'll touch a bit upon their investigation of Bruce Mansion in Brown Township, Michigan, before diving into some deep discussion about what the true nature of ghosts might be. It was some of the most thoughtful discussion I have had on this topic in a long time. So let's go ahead and get started. Enjoy! All right, so we have arrived at the expert interview portion of today's episode of Paranormal Optimist. So for this kind of episode, I like to just do a straightforward Q&A format, and we can just see where we end up. We can go off on tangents, no big deal. So we'll just see where we end up. So I am super excited today to be joined by Soluna Investigations, but I'll actually let you both introduce yourselves. Can you tell us who you are, what you do? What would you like us to know about you? you?
Hi. So yeah, we are Soluna. We are paranormal investigators. We basically just go to haunted or abandoned places, sometimes cemeteries, and just try to get tangible evidence of the paranormal.
Really cool. So cool. So, do you want to introduce the both of you from Soluna Investigations, or do you prefer to just be Soluna Investigations?
Yeah, Jacob can introduce himself.
Yeah.
My name is Jacob. Yeah, Kayla and I are kind of do investigations together.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, I actually did go ahead and I watched your YouTube video that you uploaded where you visited Bruce Mansion in Brown City, Michigan. That was so cool. I was really impressed by it. So, I mean, I love how you put some history research at the end of the video. That was really cool. I mean, my podcast is a lot of history, so I love that kind of research. I like reading about history, listening to podcasts. But as my friends will tell you, I typically have like the worst attention span when it comes to watching YouTube videos for some reason. So I was really impressed that I watched your video from start to finish because it's like a personal problem of mine where I can't focus. But I think I told you in my email, like by 1 minute and 58 seconds in, I was like totally hooked. I had goosebumps. It was a really awesome investigation. So I'm really excited that you guys wanted to do this today because that was really cool. And I'm really excited to see more of those. But when I was watching that video, one of the first questions that came to mind was whether either of you have had any like moments in the past that you think have led you to where you are today, doing these investigations, making these videos. Was it like you had an experience that you couldn't explain, or was it just a general interest or a family interest that led you here? Is there anything like that?
Yeah, actually. So I know for me, it was just my family is very spiritual to begin with. We always kind of talk about spirits or ghosts.
Sure.
It's not super taboo in my family.
Mm-hmm.
So we grew up kind of experiencing paranormal phenomena, and it just kind of went from there. And then Jacob here, he does a lot of our tech and our editing and our video edits. Basically, he does it all. I'm terrible at that stuff, just to be
It's
honest.
so much work. It's so much work.
It really is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of what drew my interest. And as for Jacob,
My family was not so much. My dad didn't really believe into it.
Hmm.
My mom is more holistic healing, so she believed more into the supernatural
Hmm.
and alternative ways to life. My dad now understands and believes more.
Hmm.
He does like real estate, and so he sees some spooky houses.
Yeah, that's such an interesting perspective. I don't know if you guys have watched Surreal Estate, that show that was on Sci-Fi for a while. It's like a real estate agent who sells haunted houses. So it's really
that
funny
is
that you brought that
amazing.
up. Yeah, it's a pretty good
We're gonna
show.
have to watch
I'd
that.
recommend it. I didn't watch the second half of the last season, but the rest of it was pretty good. And I thought it was a really interesting perspective. So that's one example of how I go off script sometimes. So it's fine. But yeah, so it sounds like you guys kind of had just like a general interest growing up. Were there any like specific instances where you're just like, wow, I can't explain what just happened or anything like that? I mean, you don't have to share anything too personal, but just wondering if you did have any experiences like that.
For me, growing up, yes. As a child, yes. I had quite a few experiences that were
Hmm.
not explained but were
Hmm.
shared. People whispering my name,
Oh,
like a certain type of shadow on the wall that almost looked like
yeah.
a mask there. So,
So scary.
yeah.
Or it can be,
So
I suppose. Sometimes
when
it's not.
when you're young, it's super
Hmm.
scary. It's
Yeah.
obviously very scary.
Yeah.
But when as you get older and as we dive into these investigations more and more, the fear gets taken out of it and it's more turns into like it's almost like scientific, right? It's almost like a
Hmm.
scientific conquest of finding out like if there is life beyond death.
Yeah, it's so fascinating, right? And that was one of the things I noticed actually while watching your video is that the two of you didn't seem too scared or nervous. I mean, maybe you were, but you didn't come off that way. Like that's what I was thinking. I was like, wow, these people are so calm and there is so much stuff happening in this video. So I was really impressed by that. I don't think I would keep myself together as well as you guys kept yourself together unless you edited all of the freak outs out.
We do get scared.
Yeah.
There's a clip we were in the cemetery, and I
Hmm.
jumped and screamed.
I don't know. Yeah, we haven't
We have
posted.
posted it, but
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
not
I look
yet.
forward to that.
But yeah, I don't know. You kind of have to have a strong like head on your shoulders.
Hmm.
A lot of stuff can feed onto your emotions. So
Yeah.
if you
Yeah, so
go
I've
in like
heard.
scared, it can make it a little bit harder for you.
And I think being neutral, something that I think we do differently than other investigators, we don't go in expecting to find anything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a cool house. There's a lot of
Mhm.
history. All the places we've been to have a lot of heavy history,
Mhm.
but we go into it more with like a skeptic point of view than we do with like, oh my gosh, what was that little creak down the hall? Like,
Yeah.
we don't want to be like almost fantastical, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, I think that's a great way to approach it. I mean, people believe what they believe, and I don't want to tell people not to believe. But if you enter a place expecting something to happen, then it's more likely that you'll perceive it happening. So it's good that you go in as a skeptic, at least for other skeptics out there who want to believe. Then they have an easier time, believing what is real. So I don't know if that made any sense, but I appreciate
Yeah,
that
no, it
perspective.
did. Hmm.
Yeah.
And
So
we have fun,
so
so it's a little bit
yeah.
easier for us.
Yeah. So, how do you actually prepare for your investigations? That was my next question. It's kind of related. So, you have to be in a certain headspace, but is there anything else that you do special to prepare for your investigations?
So, we're very spiritual people.
Hmm.
So one of the things we do, and obviously, some people believe in this, some people don't, but
Hmm.
we try to do like some spiritual protection because you never know what you're going to walk into. You might walk into nothing, you might walk into
Sure.
something, and so protecting ourselves, making sure like we eat, we sleep, we're in a good space, we're hydrated and like ready to go. Like it seems kind of silly, but that part is really important, and also making sure like just simple stuff, the equipment's
Yeah.
charged and like we have
Yeah.
extra batteries and
Most of that is just good experience, I think, just in general for approaching life, like making sure you're drinking enough
yes.
water, taking care of yourself. So yeah, if you're going to be doing something high stress like this, I think that makes sense. But yeah, charging your equipment, that's good.
Hmm.
Yeah, another one I was wondering, because we watch, I mean, I don't really watch any of the modern ghost hunting shows because I think they've kind of, this is just my opinion. I just think they've kind of gone off the rails a little bit with like
Yeah.
Ghost Adventures, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But can you break down what your process is for these investigations? Like, how do you approach, like, what's your plan, I guess, when you're going into a place?
So, like Kayla said a little bit earlier, we don't necessarily have a plan. We
Okay.
just kind of go in and hope for the best, try and
Mm-hmm.
find any sort of evidence. So, like every place is a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like something we do every investigation though,
Mm-hmm.
we like to go in blind. Like I
Mm-hmm.
want to know kind of about the place we're at, but not too much till we get there. Something we do is there's a device called an EMF reader.
Yes.
So the first thing I typically do is walk around with the EMF reader, and if I
Mm-hmm.
get certain spikes that don't have like a logical explanation, then those are typically the rooms I like to start in.
Sure. Yeah, I do know a little bit about EMF detectors. I know that they can be set off by like bad wiring,
Hmm.
old appliances, that sort of thing. So when you say like when they have something that you can't explain, you mean something like that, right? Like if it's by an outlet or something, then it's
Yeah,
probably
so
nothing. Okay.
if there's like an internet router, or a lot of these
Yeah.
places have security cameras,
Mm-hmm.
or like if it's too close to my phone, it will go off someone else's
Okay.
phone, or like a smartwatch. So as
So
long
you
as that is ruled out.
So, yep, that's what I was going to say. So you rule out those things. And then if you have other, I don't know how to phrase this for some reason. If your EMF detector goes off and you can't immediately explain it away with one of those things, then that's something that you focus on.
Yes.
Okay, really cool. Yeah, so my next question, you mentioned EMF detectors. Is there any other equipment that you like always bring with you, or do you only bring certain equipment to certain types of investigations?
So we tend to bring everything.
Yes,
You
we do
you
bring
Good
don't know.
policy.
everything.
Yeah, you really don't know what's gonna work where. Our past like four places,
Hmm.
one thing would work and that wouldn't work anywhere else, and
Hmm.
so it honestly it's been kind of fun.
Yes,
Yeah.
We've been using every device at a different place.
to second, yeah, Jacob's
Hmm.
opinion here is, yeah, we bring everything because you will never know what is going
Hmm.
to work and what's not going to work. At
Hmm.
one investigation, you're the sweet box, which we can get into later, but the sweet
Yeah.
box, that will be going off like crazy and getting
Hmm.
intelligent responses, but then at the next place it won't work at all, or the EMF will be beautiful in one
Mhm.
place and not work in the next place at all. Like we have to bring everything.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a good idea to, be over prepared because, like you said, you don't know what's going to work in certain places. Yeah, I did notice. Was it that piece of equipment that you were using in the Bruce Mansion? Was it called the sweep? Is it sweep, like a broom?
Yes. So that's,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called, like, if you were going to buy it online, I think it's called
Mm-hmm.
a spirit box.
Oh,
But
okay.
I refer to it as the sweep box because what it does is it sweeps radio channels.
Okay. Yes, because I wasn't 100% sure what that device was. I don't actually do any investigations, so Spirit Box is a little bit after my time of when I used to watch those ghost hunting shows. So, are you able to explain a little bit about how those work if for anybody else like me who doesn't actually know, or legitimately don't know how those work? Like, what is their application in investigations, I guess?
Yeah, so all of this is theory based. So the theory behind a sweep box is you turn either AM, FN frequency on the radio and you change the sweep rate. So it will basically go through each channel very quickly. It kind of makes that whoosh, 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 whoosh noise.
Yes.
And so what that's doing is allowing, theoretically, the spirits are going to use the words from the radio stations to create like a sentence for you or an intelligent response.
Oh, okay. That explains a lot, actually. Because I was watching the video and I'm like, well, these just sound like normal people who obviously aren't there. But I'm like, that just sounds like some guy. So that makes a lot of sense because it's not actually if the spirit is a person or whatever, it's not actually them. It's not their voice coming through. It's them kind of using bits and pieces of audio and splicing
Yes.
it together. Okay. That's super interesting. How long have you been using that kind of equipment?
So the sweep box, like I'll say a year or two
Okay.
for the sweep box. Every piece is a little bit different,
Sure.
but the main one, I guess, would be the sweep, the EMF,
Hmm.
the cat balls, which we could
Mhm.
get into that
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, definitely, because I don't know what that is. So whenever
Just
you
a
want to talk
normal
about that.
thermometer.
Oh yeah, the thermometer.
Yeah, to look for like variations in temperature and that sort of thing. Cold
Yep.
spots, hot spots, that sort of thing. Is it mostly cold spots that you would find with that, or do you find both?
We found both.
Yeah, pretty much
Interesting.
both. Yeah.
Easy was really hot in that one room.
Yeah, it was.
So when
Usually
you
it's
usually it's cold. That's what I was gonna say. That's what we always hear, like on TV or whatever. It's like, oh, there's a cold spot here, so there must be something. Does it mean anything different for you if you find like a hot spot, or is it just something that you document like as being strange?
I would say a hotspot is kind of like demonic if you believe in
Oh,
any of that.
okay.
When it gets really hot like that, it
Hmm.
to me it signifies that the energy is different.
Okay.
It's a different type of entity.
So we don't want there to be hot spots,
Right.
basically. Okay.
No hotspots.
That's good information to have. That's good information. So we've talked about EMF detectors and the spirit box and the thermometers. Is there anything else that you use that you'd like to talk about today?
The cat balls.
yeah.
Yeah, what is that?
So I know it sounds so funny.
It does.
It's kind of what it sounds like, to be fair.
So what they are is they're like these little motion sensor balls. Like they're like these clear, they almost look like a cat toy.
Okay.
So
That makes
that's why
sense.
they're referred to as cat balls. So what they do, and it's amazing when you see it actually happen in person, but
Hmm.
not to get on like a tangent there, but
Just used and got great footage at
yeah, we got
Indiana.
amazing intelligent responses with the cat balls. So the theory behind the cat balls
Hmm.
is you set them down and you turn them on, and when they move or when something motions past them, they will light up. They'll blink in like a
Oh, okay.
rainbow kind of colored light. And so we put them down, you walk away a good amount to make sure you don't interfere with it either.
Hmm.
And the theory is the spirits will respond by moving the ball, or if they walk past it without us knowing, the ball will go off.
Sure. So it's a simple motion sensor that sets
Yep.
off the light. Okay. And are these actual cat toys? Are they manufactured for use by investigators? Because I know a lot of investigation equipment is not actually created for that intent, but it just works really well.
I think both,
Okay.
to be
Interesting.
honest.
Yeah. I know
When you
that's how it's become with EMF detectors. Like they have applications outside of this, but now they're being like mass produced because so many people want to be able to use them. So that's really cool. I mean, you kind of have to repurpose items because science refuses to investigate these things. So, but yeah, that sounds like something that's going to be really cool to see on video if it's something that lights up and reacts in real time. So, I'm really looking forward to that. Do you think that'll be in your next video that you upload?
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be
Great.
our next video.
Very cool. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that. And I'm sure everybody here would like to watch that. So I'll definitely have links in the episode description to where people can find that. And let me see what my next question is. Unless there was any other equipment you wanted to talk about today, because I'm really interested in this part too. So,
So there is a lot of equipment.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know our big group, they use something called,
Oh, the SLS camera.
yep.
Oh, and what's that one?
So basically, it is a camera that identifies the shape of human figures. So
Oh.
if you hold the camera out, it's kind of like a big tablet, and you
Mm-hmm.
hold the camera and you record, and if
Mm-hmm.
a human being walks by, you will see like a stick figure outline of their
Okay.
body.
Oh, that sounds really creepy.
It is. It's actually terrifying.
Yeah.
So we were actually at an asylum this past weekend, and the SLS camera was used, and it was like down the hallway, and you could see things on the wall. You can see things walking down the hallway. It's an interesting piece of equipment.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about being in an asylum and seeing stick figures on this thing.
Yeah, it could definitely be intimidating.
Yeah. Yeah. One
Yeah,
of my friends actually went to that asylum up in Traverse City, but she didn't investigate it. But it's like on our bucket list to go up there and do that one day. So we'll see if I can work up the courage. I'm kind of just like a backseat researcher. So yeah.
It,
So was there any other equipment that you wanted to talk about?
there's more. Like there's a
Hmm.
music box. We
Oh.
use sometimes. It's kind of like the cat balls,
Hmm.
but instead of flashing, it will make like it'll play a
music.
song or a jingle.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to think.
Some old school
Hmm.
is
The Jacob's ladder.
yeah, the Jacob's ladder, tarot cards I use
Mm.
sometimes. There's just a very wide variety of equipment.
So pendulums, if you really want to do Ouija boards.
No,
Well,
don't do
I
Ouija
don't.
boards.
But
No.
actually, that is coincidentally my next question. So I was watching that video, and while you were going through, and you entered that one room, and I saw that there was a Ouija board in that room on the table. I was so angry. Not angry. I was just really upset. I did not want there to be a Ouija board in that house, and there was. So I was just
Hmm.
wondering, like, how did you feel when you saw that, or how do you typically feel about Ouija boards? Like, do you use those? Do you avoid those? Do you not believe in them at all? Like, how do you feel about that?
We very much believe in them.
Okay, I respect
We
them.
do not use them.
Yeah, we do
Yes.
not use the Ouija boards.
Okay, so
They're
we're on the same page
very
there.
powerful portals that you do
Yeah.
not want to open that door.
Yes, that's how I feel about it. So it's like I respect you, Ouija board. I've never used you. I never will. Just leave me alone. That's how I feel about it.
Yes, I'll
So
second that opinion.
so how did
Really,
you feel
really
when you walked
creepy.
into that room and you saw that there?
Always changes the mood a little bit, changes the atmosphere because let's say, like for Bruce Mansion, a lot of that, I kind of came to the conclusion that that is what would be called like a residual haunt. That a lot
Sure.
of that energy was just residual from traumatic
Mm-hmm.
instances that happened there. But with a Ouija board, it kind of changes the energy. Like Jacob had said, it creates
Mm-hmm.
like a portal. So it no
Yeah.
longer is just the energy that was originally in the house. It
Mm-hmm.
creates a door essentially for other energies to come in.
Sure. So you kind of don't know even what to expect anymore when you come across that. Because
Right.
it
It
could
could
be something that has nothing to do with the history of the location, that sort of thing, right?
absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So it's so scary, so scary. I mean, I've heard so many stories about Ouija boards. I used to listen to, no, I still listen to this podcast called Real Life Ghost Stories, hosted by this woman in Ireland named Emma. And there are just so many Ouija board stories. So she has like a PSA where she just says, don't mess with Ouija boards. It's not worth it. And that's how I feel about it. So
I'll agree with that. There are so
yeah.
many other things you can do
Yep.
besides a Ouija board.
Yeah.
Leave them
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah. Have you guys had any personal experiences that you would be comfortable sharing around those, or you've just heard stories as well that you know are true and you just avoid?
Just the stories for me.
Oh,
That's all I
yeah,
needed.
that's all I needed too. It's like,
I've watched
it's not
one
worth the
scary
risk.
movie. That was enough.
Yeah, not worth the risk, not worth the risk. So, yeah, we kind of touched on, well, not really, but we talked about like residual haunts, that sort of thing. So, if you had to define what a ghost actually is, I mean, how would you do that? How would you phrase that? How would you talk about it?
I would say that a spirit is kind of the transfer of energy.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would agree. It's just like a ball of energy. We learned in school energy cannot be created nor destroyed.
Sure.
So it's kind of just hangs out and still around.
And do you think that there's like different levels or different kinds? Because I hear people talk about like residual and intelligent. Do you think they're all different categories of the same thing, or do you think they're completely different things? I always wonder about this. Like, is a residual haunt even a ghost, or is it something else? I always think about these things, but I don't really know.
I think they're kind of, let's say like a ghost is a broad spectrum
Sure.
category, and these are just little subcategories, because
Sure.
I don't necessarily think a residual haunt will always give you an intelligent response.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that was my impression.
it's more like,
Kind of just capture the moment.
yeah, so what happened in that moment for those people?
Mm-hmm.
So if someone dies very unexpectedly or very dramatically, it's like that's a heavy imprint on the energy of the space. And I feel like that doesn't necessarily count as like a intelligent spirit, because they're not going to respond
Yeah.
the way that you would ask, like, oh, where are you from? Like, they're not going to
Yeah.
respond to that question.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's going to sound kind of broken up, like you'll hear bits and pieces about what happened to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I always wonder if maybe the residual stuff, like the energy that was stored or whatever and is still there. I always wonder if maybe that's some type of natural phenomenon that we just don't know how to explain. But then when it gets into like the intelligent ones that are actually interacting, that seems totally different to me. But I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. So I
Yeah,
like to
no, I
ask.
think,
Yeah.
I think I would agree with you. I would think that, yeah, the paranormal is just so, it's documented, but also not enough
Yeah.
where they can be a subcategory in this direction. That's
Mm-hmm.
more talking about the energy versus, yeah, a more
Yeah.
intelligent spirit.
It's definitely interesting to
Residual's
talk
almost-
about. Mm-hmm.
Residual's almost like you found the invisible camera that
Yeah.
recorded the event. Where ghosts will get more personal and here in the moment responses.
Exactly. So it's all very interesting. In part 1 of this interview, we got to know Kayla and Jacob of Soluna Investigations and learned about their approach to paranormal research. They shared how they prepare for fieldwork, the tools they rely on, and the reasoning behind their investigative methods. The conversation touched on their experiences at Bruce Mansion in Brown Township, Michigan, before moving into a deeper exploration of what ghosts might truly be. It was truly a blast learning so many new things about all the ins and outs of modern-day ghost hunting. In part 2 of our interview, we will wrap up our discussion and touch base on a few different areas. So tune in next week to hear some expert advice on how to get started with field investigating, what the most important things are to keep in mind when doing these investigations. We'll also dive a little deeper into Kayla and Jacob's outlook on the paranormal and how that plays into their investigations. Huge thanks to Kayla and Jacob for joining me in this week's episode of Paranormal Optimist. I had such a blast talking to Soluna Investigations about the work they do in the field researching, investigating, and experiencing the paranormal. If you have a story to tell, an episode idea, or you'd like to join me as a guest, send me an email at paranormaloptimist@gmail.com. As always, you can find all the links to follow the show and all the places to listen in the episode description. As a special bonus today, you can also check the episode description to find out where to find and how to follow Soluna Investigations. Check them out on TikTok and YouTube and follow them wherever you do your best doom scrolling. If you're enjoying Paranormal Optimist, let me know. If you have a suggestion for different directions the show could take, also let me know. Send me those emails. If you're interested in helping the show grow, right now all I'm really asking is to spread the word. Thanks so much for listening to Paranormal Optimist. I'm Stephanie, your host, researcher, writer, and producer. The music you heard today comes royalty-free from Purple Planet Music. Until next time, believe a little, doubt a lot, but never stop wondering.